There's all sorts of vaccination stuff still going on, and we can look to Florida, for instance.
Yeah, Florida most recently has appointed, under Ron DeSantis, a state surgeon general who is decidedly anti-vaccine. I wrote about him in Scientific American this week.
Now,
Who's
tell me about his qualifications. I mean, a
he
surgeon
oh he
general,
is
he's got to be a doctor.
he's a Harvard qualified doctor, but just because one is in a position of authority, that they're a doctor or a scientist, does not a priori mean that they are speaking the truth. Scientific consensus is based on evidence. It's not based on one's individual credentials. However, to the public, because we use someone's credentials as shorthand for whether we should rely on them or not, someone like the Florida State Surgeon General can do an awful lot of damage because they sit there with that credibility, that veneer of credibility that makes people go, well, they must know what they're talking about. Now, this guy is in defiance of the CDC. He's ignoring public health measures. And this is particularly bad because Florida is being gripped by a measles outbreak. And instead of doing the recommended health precautions, measles incredibly infectious. Every one case gives
Yeah.
rise to 12 to 18 other cases. This is why we need a really high vaccination rate. Not only has he been undermining vaccination, he's also basically saying, oh, just mix how you want. It'll probably be fine. Of course, this is a disease that still can kill people.
Yeah.
And measles vaccination prevents about 1 million deaths a
I
year,
mean,
just to put it in
obviously,
perspective.
during the COVID pandemic, we were talking about herd immunity. If enough people get COVID, then eventually we'll all have herd immunity.
Or we'll be dead.
Or we'll be dead.
That's how it'll
And
work, yeah.
indeed, many thousands of people died.
Absolutely. We've seen it in
that.
America, over 1 million people died. America's a weird case because America's so polarized. For example, we had a very high vaccine uptake here and we had relatively low deaths in the pandemic. And we had quite strong lockdown measures because our health service is quite overwhelmed. But in America, only about 60-ish to 70% of different states got vaccinated, which means they had a much higher burden. And you see that in their mortality. They lost about 1 million people, and that's a conservative estimate.
Yeah.
That is a significant amount of people to lose.
So, what is this guy actually saying in Florida? Is he saying that vaccination is dangerous? What is?
Yes, he has. One of the things he's been taken up for and outraged